parents, you can show compassion to your kids without spoiling them. All you need to do is speak to your kids boldly and sternly. All you can do is speak to your kids boldly and sternly. Boldly, confidently, and sternly. Keep explaining why they're still gonna do what you say. And if they keep asking why, take a deep breath before you yell at them, and then ask them why themselves. Ask them why. Like, why do you think so? Help them think on their own. Parenting your kids is not about intimidation. It's about communication. Good communication. You owe them an explanation, especially when it comes to the birds and the bees. Like, it's either you tell them what it is or somebody else will. Either the internet, a child molester, some kid who is in a messed up household or probably discovered what they shouldn't be discovering at a young age. Okay, it can even happen in preschooler years. My mom never told me the birds and the bees when I was like younger. When I was like, how do I say it? When I was like 5, 6 or 7, I had fellow preschoolers show me porn. Show me lesbian porn. I got my leg humped on. Those were not good times. I was a pushover. I didn't know how to say no. I didn't even know what the birds and the bees was. But they gave me the talk their own way. It's either you talk to your kids or somebody else will. Okay? You will not like that happening. Okay? You can't control what people share with your children. You can only control so much. Alright? Discovered the internet at the age of 7. And the internet introduced me to porn at the age of 7. 1 week later. Educate yourself. Educate your kids. Don't come up with any pet names for private words. Call it what it is. Don't be too specific where they want to try it. Just tell them what it is. Tell them the consequences of having children. Tell them the consequences of having sex. It's better to tell it to them, so when somebody else tries to, they know better. Like, hey, no. Teach them to say no. Teach them to say no. Teach them to say no. To learn how to say no to. Especially when somebody tries to introduce them to sex or tries to get them into it. Just tell them no. Just tell them to teach them no. Yeah, just tell them no. So, yeah, you owe your kids an explanation. Tell them the consequences of STDs and HIV. Educate them. Eating some fries right now. So yeah. You can discipline your kids with good communication and politely tell them that the world doesn't revolve around them. Tell them sternly, boldly. Tell them that the world doesn't revolve around them. And show compassion. Let's say, for example, they fell. Okay, comfort them. Comfort them. Let them feel heard. Comfort them. And then just be like, are you okay? Be careful when you walk. Be careful on your walk. When you're walking. So yeah. Or be careful when you're running. So yeah. Use good communication to talk to your children. Keep explaining why they're still going to do what you say. You do not have to hit them over everything. You do not have to yell at them over everything. Like, just take a deep breath before you even think about yelling. As soon as you get angry, take a deep breath. Because if your way of disciplining children is through hitting, yelling, and using anger to express your every emotion, you should not be having kids. And if you have them, take them to the foster care instead of just messing them up. Till they grow up with anxiety, like making a big deal out of every mistake that they have made, hating themselves over everything they do, like literally making such a big deal out of it, having this extreme anxiety that's just been going around. And people who grew up with no compassion, grew up with whoopings, being yelled at, having parents who uses anger to express their every emotion. Those people grow up way entitled. Those people grow up entitled and bratty because they start learning how to manipulate. They start being as toxic as their parents and then just getting away with it because they're parents. So they're just bringing kids into this world because of the privileges of getting away with being toxic to your kids. And then they start acting like the world revolves around them. They start manipulating people. They start manipulating their kids. They start those people be acting bright. I don't care what kind of devices we have. Okay? Take my mom, for example. She got away with doing the most dirt. And she starts acting like it too. She can cry on cue, like the manipulative person that she is. She got away with it for now, but God's gonna deal with her sooner or later. Like, they just, kids who grew up with trashy parents start growing up to be the most bratty. They start acting out in school, becoming bullies in school, thinking that they can pick on other students and get away with it. And then when life starts hitting them, they start learning how to completely mask their horrible personality traits and thinking, okay, I'll just tone it down a little bit, but I'm going to still be my horrible self. And then still thinking that the world revolves around them. You can show compassion to your kids and tell them that nobody cares about them at the same time. More like not nobody cares about them because God cares about them, but you just tell them that the world doesn't revolve around them. More like that. And not everybody is like, how do I say this? Just tell them that the world doesn't revolve around them. Just tell them that the world doesn't revolve around them. There are kids who grew up with their parents using good communication. There are kids who grew up with their parents using good communication to discipline their kids, and they kids start respecting their parents. And they start taking that respect to the grave and beyond. So yeah, God bless.